Welcome, welcome everyone to the Big O TV, where being organized feels so good. I am so excited to have the host, my special guest today, my special guest host, Ysmay Walsh. Thank you very much for coming on. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is fabulous. I love talking about organization, so this is like totally my thing.
No, I know. I'm just like a total geek with it. So I have to tell everyone first that my voice is going out. So if you hear me coughing over here, I'll gladly mute myself so that I can go through all of the trimmers that I need to go through. But just to let you guys know that that's what's happening. But my beautiful, beautiful guest here is just perfectly fine. Let me tell you a little bit about Ysmay. Ysmay is a yoga marketing coach who is dedicated to empowering yoga teachers. Born with a rare nervous system disorder, Ysmay overcame her condition because of yoga. She has been the director of digital strategy for a company in London, blogger for Richard Branson's Virgin.com, and the founder of 2 startups. Wow, impressive. Welcome, Ysmay. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a delight.
I love it. I love Blab. I love this platform. I get to meet so many awesome people. And yes, I am an organizing nerd. So I'm kind of happy to hear that you kind of like that too.
Yeah, it's perhaps an unhealthy obsession, but there's worse obsessions, right?
Definitely that. Definitely. Well, I'm going to jump right into the questions here so that everyone can get to know you and all of your challenges and solutions. So, what has been your biggest challenge that you've encountered with your business and why?
Well, a lot of that has been about mindset. My biggest challenge has been actually being able to put myself out there. I mean, I'm very extroverted, but when it has come to actually asking someone to hire me or give me a sale, it's been very difficult because I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through this as well, where we feel like, oh, I'm sort of an imposter, why would anybody give me money? And it took a long time for me to overcome that. So before I started working at 42 Yogis, I have been working with small business owners building websites since the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was all word of mouth. I didn't have to go out and do selling. People just would refer me and they'd come to me. And so when I started doing this and I had to find clients, I was like, I can't, I cannot do sales. And it took a lot of mindset work to overcome that.
I totally understand that. You're right. I think that a lot of business entrepreneurs feel that way. I think sales is one of those things that is just, if you're just not naturally that type of person, then you really have to ease into it. It's something that you have to learn, just like anything else. It's just something that you have to learn through practice. So I feel you with that one. Oh my gosh, I've taken so many sales courses on how to do that whole genuine from your heart and soul sales so that it doesn't sound salesy and all that good stuff. It's like,
So my ex's father, when I was a teenager, he was actually a used car salesman. And so I had this idea in my head of what sales was and what it looked like. And I was like, no, not doing it. And it was actually Grant Cardone's book, Sell or Be Sold, that changed my mind and really got me over that.
Okay, I'll have to get that one. I've heard so much about that, but I have never read that book. What about it did you like?
Well, I picked it up on a whim at the Chicago Midway Airport in October and read it on a flight. And one of the things that really stuck with me is everything we do in life is a sales transaction. You're either trying to sell someone on spending time with you, you're trying to sell someone on an idea, you're trying to sell in the dating world, for example, you're trying to sell somebody on the idea that you're worth having another date with.
Right.
And he really put it into perspective that everything we do is a sales transaction. Either we're the ones selling or we're the ones being sold to. And just because the term sales is involved doesn't mean that it has to be something that's inauthentic. It doesn't have to be spammy or icky or any of those other negative emotions that we associate with selling.
You know what? I feel like I was selling to my 8-year-old this morning. Please,
you probably were.
Brush your teeth, please, and then maybe you'll get breakfast.
Yeah, there you go. And I sell to my husband all the time. hey, could, take out the garbage and I'm going to go cook dinner while you do that. It's all a sales transaction.
It really is. I love it. I love it. So tell me, what did you do to overcome that obstacle?
Well, it was a lot of research, a lot of studying. There's another sales consultant, Andra Bolin, who I am just obsessed with. This woman. She is fabulous. I soak up everything that she puts out there. And
I've heard that name. I wonder if it was through you that I heard that.
I don't know. We're Facebook friends, so maybe she popped up on like a mutual list, but she is incredible. She is all about empowering yourself to overcome the mindsets and the obstacles that keep you from moving forward in sales. So it's been a combination of hearing her on podcasts and watching what she does on Periscope and reading Grant Cardone's work that has really helped me overcome that I can't do this. And just because I have something to sell doesn't mean that I'm a spammy salesperson.
Yeah. You know what? I think that is seriously a huge issue. We do tend to really think about sales being very, very slimy and spammy, but then, like I said, if you really are coming from what really got me was one day, I think it was Christy Brown. I love Christy Brown. She had us do a little exercise where we had to write down everything that we've done, from free courses to paid courses, your work outside of your business, your everything. And when I made that 2-page list, I said, dang, who's that? I am worth a lot. I have a lot of knowledge going on here. I've got a lot of experience going on here. It really helped me to see how worthy I am to charge whatever prices that I'm charging, and to also be confident in saying, hey, this is what I have to give. You're paying for all this knowledge that I have, and you're going to get some really, really good stuff. It took that for me to really realize just how worthy I was. You talk about the mindset. I didn't think that I was worthy. It's like I'd only taken like a few courses, it's like I'm not one of those, who is it? I'm not a Marie Forleo, I'm not any of those. But I do have a little bit of knowledge about what I know, so I know what I know, and what I know is pretty darn good. So when I wrote all that down, I was just like, wow, I even forgot that in the past I went to technical school to be a secretary. How did I get some of these organizational skills? Why am I so in love with it? Well, duh, I forgot. Can you believe it? I forgot.
So I think a lot of us tend to forget how we acquire knowledge. I think we undervalue the knowledge that we do have. And when we start to see what it is we have to offer, I think it's a lot easier to overcome that mindset. But it takes work.
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and pressing that reset button every day, not just in your business, but with you overall. It's just like keep pressing that reset button to get things going again, especially if you have an off day or something like that. It's just crazy to be able to pick up and say, okay, all right, I'm not going to keep thinking about that. I'm going to keep on moving on. Okay, no more, just let it, go watch a really goofy YouTube video or Facebook something, or, just to get it off your mind and get your mind back to where it is that it needs to be. It takes a lot of training. I mean, that can potentially be a lifetime of training.
That's so true. I do
mess it up, so how long it's not going to take us a day to fix it. So.
Exactly. It's a continual process. And I do something every day that is kind of ridiculous, but I set aside time every day for, I call it a mindlessness, where it's like I turn on something stupid on YouTube or on Netflix, and I just let my brain let go of everything that's built up throughout the day. This is usually at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night before bed. And it helps to release all of the anxiety and anything that's been keeping me in that what the hell am I doing mode.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So when I wake up, I feel a lot fresher.
Well, I love that. I love that idea. I might have to do that as well. But I do something like that, but that's not my mindlessness. Those are my fun times. Those are my leave me alone people in this house. I'm busy with me. Get out, kids, get out. So give us your best advice for the people who struggle with that same issue.
Keep studying. Keep learning from people who've been there too, because you're not the first and you're not the last who's going to be struggling with making sales as a soulful person. There are people who keep going through this every single day, and there are communities that can help you. There are books, there are consultants, and there's a ton of free information. You don't have to pay a lot of money for it. You can get a book on Kindle. You can follow sales consultants on Periscope and Blab, and you can soak up their knowledge without having to shell out for personal coaching, and that can really help you get your mind straight.
That is so true. When I found Blab, which was just back in March, I just started this show back in March, and I was on Blab for like 3 days, like like that, because I couldn't believe I learned in 3 days way more than I learned in 5 years. In those 3 days on Blab, that I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so much knowledge out there. And you are so right. It doesn't take an arm and a leg to get some of that knowledge. You know, some of it you might need to spend some time and some money on, but a lot of it you just really don't. So I'm with you on that one 100%. What has been your favorite? I know, Andrea, you love her. What has been some of your other people that you like to take from? Even if it's another Blab or another Periscope or Facebook group or something.
In just the sales space?
Anything, any space.
Oh gosh, that's a long list.
Let me get comfortable there. Look.
I love Marie Forleo. She is amazing. I love watching her Marie TVs.
Isn't she hilarious?
She is, and I like the video editing. It's very relaxed, and it feels like she's someone you can hang out with. But she's always dropping value bombs, which I love. Yeah. And I've recently become really, I don't want to say obsessed, but I really become a fan of Chase Jarvis, the founder of Creative Live. He has a show on YouTube where he interviews really amazing high-level entrepreneurs. And he just wrapped up what he called 30 Days of Genius recently. He interviewed Richard Branson, Marie Forleo, Gabrielle Bernstein, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
What?
Yeah, who turns out he's a really good business person, and he is really brilliant. I had no idea.
No, me either.
So, and on this show, he sits down with these people. He gets really personal. They give tons of business advice. Lots of mindset advice. They help you get really clear and give you perspective. It was really incredible. You can check them all out on YouTube. The whole series is archived there. So I love the way he interviews people. He really gets them to open up in an authentic way, which I think is missing from a lot of the bigger productions.
Yes.
So I'm a huge fan of him.
That's really awesome. I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Another thing, too, I think is really missing from some of those, not someone like Marie. Marie is really very transparent. She talks about how she started her first workshop in the basement when her parents were the only ones that showed up.
No, I was like, good. I'm so glad other people have been there.
Yes, exactly. And we need to hear that. And that's the one thing that really bothers me that I would like to see more of. Is you didn't just get there and, to yesterday. You didn't start your business on Tuesday and then Wednesday you're a big success. I need to hear about all the things that you've gone through, because I'm sitting over here going through the same things over here. So many of us, and we're just like, our eyes are crossed over here. We need to hear that. And I really enjoy listening to those stories, because it lets me know that I am not going cuckoo. Just like you said, you're not the first and you won't be the last. And let me tell you, my godmother told me that that whole little saying, you're not the first and you won't be the last. So she told me that on a different level. Once I'm divorced, my husband cheated on me.
Oh, and nice.
So, yeah, she said, you're not the first and you won't be the last. I'm like, really? That's your advice? That's it? You're not the first and you won't be the last.
That's hilarious.
That's the advice. Wow. Well, it stuck with me,
Yeah.
That I was just like, God, mommy, is that you? God, mommy.
Damn, but it's true. So we aren't, and no matter what it is we're going through, and if you're struggling with sales, if you're struggling to, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm never going to be successful. You're not the first person to feel it, and there's going to be someone tomorrow who feels the same way. And I really like when people like Marie Forleo talk about that. They make it so obvious that, you know what, we can do it. They've been there. They've shown that we can get there too.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Yes. So, if you could go back to you at the start of your business, what would you say to yourself?
Get your mind right.
Girl, get your mind right.
Get your mind right, because for the longest time, it was my mindset that was keeping me from doing anything at all that was, like sales. If it was uncomfortable, I wouldn't do it. And my mind was stuck in that place of fear, and I didn't want to put myself out there. I mean, what if it doesn't work? What if I lose money? What if people don't trust me? And it was just mindset in the end. And once I decided, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear here, but once I
swear.
Cool. Once I decided, fuck it.
Don't let this fool you.
Mm-hmm. Once I decided, fuck it, and to just do it anyway, and I started looking at things either as a fuck yes or a fuck no. And if it's a fuck no, I just don't even bother, because I know I'm just going to half-ass it. And that's when people don't buy. That's when people don't trust me. That's when people don't show up. And when it's a fuck yes, when I'm all in, when my mind is there and it's right and I'm fully present, that's when things start to take off. But for a long time, I was living in that middle space of maybe. And I was like sticking my toe in the pool. Right. I was like, I'm going to try this thing. And like 3 days later, I'm like, yeah, no, this is uncomfortable. And so I'd stop. And so it took a long time for me to get traction.
Right. I understand that. This whole thing is something that I just started in March, like I said, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to put makeup on. When I first started, I was not wearing my scarf. So I just started wearing my scarf like maybe 3 or 4 days ago. I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna put my scarf back on, So that was something for me that was just like, oh my gosh, people are not gonna wanna see me anymore. They're gonna just, judge. I'm still the same person, I still have this personality. I'm still just absolutely me. I just decided I want to start wearing my scarf again, so that's a personal decision. It's something that I wanted to do, but it really, really held me back because I've been thinking about this for maybe about 3 or 4 months. And I just started doing it, and I understand. I'm just like, I put my scarf on, I'll take some pictures, and then I'll take it back off, and then I'll go do the rest of my stuff. And then, I'm like, I don't want to put my scarf back on. People are not going to like me. They're going to think blah, 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 blah. And then someone told me one day that it's none of my business what people think about me. And then, yes, it's none of your business what people think about you. And then another lady said, people don't like you with your scarf off. So,
okay, then.
There's going to be people who don't connect with you with whether you have a scarf on or not.
That's true.
So you really have to do it for what it is that you want to do. If it changes things, and may close the door, but it may open up a whole nother one, So I had to really decide if that was something that I wanted to get out of that middle, scarf here, there, scarf, maybe scarf today, no scarf today, no scarf, yes, no scarf, scarf, yes, scarf, no, so, so I was on the fuck yes and the fuck no and the fuck maybe, all over the place. So I get you with all your fucks. So I do. I completely understand. So I decided that this is what I'm going to do. And I was actually, a friend of mine and I were doing the Desire Map, by Danielle.
Oh, I love her.
It's been so surreal. I'm just so in love with what I'm learning about myself. And it's just what one of the things that I wrote down, we just went over the first 2 pages today. And gosh, what was the question? The question was, gosh, I can't remember what the question was. It was something about things that you. Nope, I'm gonna go get it. Just
okay.
It's right here. I'm gonna get it.
Okay. Hi, Maria. I know it's early there. Thank you for joining us.
Here it is. I got it.
Yay.
Okay. So it was, okay, I need to give myself more permission to be. That was the question. And I said, unperfect in the appearance of what my spirituality looks like to other people. Because people assume that when you put on a scarf that you just become automatically perfect. I am so.
Wouldn't that be nice?
My best friend told me that I couldn't curse anymore. And this was like, I became Muslim 10 years ago. So, and when I became Muslim, he was like, oh, you can't curse anymore. You can't do this. You can't do this. And he's a guy. He's my best friend as a guy. So then he's like, oh, you can't have me for a best friend. No, I can do whatever I want to do, So people people judge you, and that's what I put down. I need to give myself more permission to be unperfect in the appearance of what my spirituality looks like to other people. And at the end of the day, what? It's none of my business what they think about me.
I like that. So
because what else? I'm not the first, and I'm not going to be the last.
So true. And I've really been struggling with a lot of that appearance. And in the first 18 months that I was in business, I was like, well, I do yoga, and I was like, yogis aren't supposed to swear or, drink wine or eat potato chips. And so I felt very inauthentic at the same time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, and it took a lot of work it's like, you know what, fuck it. I like potato chips. I don't eat them all the time, but I like them. And that doesn't mean that I'm not a yogi.
Right.
That doesn't detract from who I am. And it just took a while for me to get over that people are going to judge me, and they're going to assume that because I do things that are not, quote, yogic, that I therefore am a fraud.
Right. Yeah. That's a big one. I understand that. Yeah. Because I got this thing going on. I understand exactly what you're at. I do. Okay. So we all have that quirky thing. And this is my favorite question, by the way.
Okay.
We all have that quirky thing that we've got going on about ourselves. Tell us something quirky about you that nobody else knows.
Okay. Well,
although this is not a family show, I don't think that we all want to know about your sex life.
No worries. There is actually something that only like my mom and brother and my husband know. And it is, if I get really excited about something, I kind of like bounce up and down and clap my hands like a little baby. It's ridiculous. I know. I learned my mom does the same thing, and we call it the happy baby clap. We're like, oh, I love that. It's ridiculous, but I've been doing it for years, and sometimes if something makes me really happy, there's a little bit of a squeal involved. I can't help it.
I do this sometimes.
Oh, I like that. That looks fun.
I have no squeals though, so yeah.
Yeah, apparently I've been doing the squeals for such a long time. Like my brother pointed it out, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I didn't do that." He's like, "You've been doing that for like 20 years."
Wow. So that's hilarious. Oh my gosh. I can imagine if you heard yourself on tape and you'd be like, who's that?
Yeah. So I've really become aware of it in the last 3 years, but
that's
cool.
Cool.
Nobody online knows that. Well, they know about it now, but
they know about it now. I love it. I love it. So what is going on in your business? Tell us what you got rocking. Let everybody know where they can get all your goodies from. Tell us everything.
Well, I've been doing the yoga biz thing for a little over, what month is this? This is June already. My gosh, it's been 2 years and 2 months now. We launched April of 2014, April 2nd, and it was a total accident. Like this whole business was an accident. I was working as the director of digital strategy for a company in London at the time, and yoga had been so helpful to me. I have a nervous system disorder. It's called dysautonomia, and it means my heart doesn't do what it's supposed to do all the time. I have digestive issues, migraine issues. It's a mess. And I had heart surgery about 11 years ago now. It didn't work. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I got really pissed. And I was like, fuck this. I'm going to get healthy. And so I started experimenting and came to yoga, and it really changed things for me. And I started the website just to share about yoga because I liked it. And I decided that I didn't want to just do something
Is that you, Maria? Okay, I'll let you come in just a second. If you want to come in, you can come in, but let her finish. And it was an accident.
Oh, okay.
Here, Maria, you can come in if you want to.
Yeah, so I started doing this website just to like talk about yoga to people because I'm like, it really helped me and it can help other people. It wasn't supposed to be a job. I had a really good paying job at the time. And I started to notice that the issue when it comes to getting access to yoga, it's not the lack of information online. It's yoga teachers going out of business because most yoga teachers make under $30,000 a year. It's 71% of yoga teachers make less than $30,000 a year teaching yoga. Most have part-time jobs, and most quit after 2 years. And this is a really big problem because yoga teachers spend a ton of money to get trained.
Right.
And it is not cheap. And they burn themselves out very, very quickly because running around teaching group classes all the time is not an easy thing to do. And you're barely making ends meet. I know some teachers who make $25 a class. That is it. That is all they make.
Really?
How can you make a living that way? And so I restructured. At the time, I also had small business coaching clients, restaurants, some farms, coffee shops. And I'd been working with them for years, and I started to restructure my coaching practice to help yoga teachers specifically. And I'm almost completely out of all of the other coaching that I do. I've just got one small business client right now who is not in yoga. And for the past, gosh, this is June, right? 6 months. Oh my God, 6 months. I've been focusing entirely on helping yoga teachers instead of helping other small business owners and instead of helping people learn yoga, because there's enough people who are doing that. It's how do I set up a website? How do I do an email newsletter? How do I get people on my email newsletter? You know, these are all things that yoga teachers are struggling with, that when you get them down, when you figure it out, you can really start to make a big difference in your life. You can reach more people, so you can serve more people. You get less burnout. It's a really rewarding process for me because I've seen people who have gone from, 0 followers to like 2,000 followers on Instagram. They're getting retreats going, private lessons. It's really empowering job. I'm very happy with this.
Well, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Then you have one of those jobs that you never need to take a vacation from.
Yes. In fact, I hate not working. So I'm restructuring a lot of what I do to, in the next couple months, I'm releasing an online academy. So I've just opened in beta to test it.
Wait.
Have a baby clap. So I just released it in beta the other day, and we're going fully live at the end of July. And it's to help yoga teachers who need to learn things like how to use Twitter and how to sell classes online, how to do Skype video lessons, all of that in an environment that doesn't cost the same amount as working with me on one-on-one, because a lot of teachers who are starting out can't afford that.
Right.
But they need to learn and they need to grow. So that's coming out at the end of June. End of July. It's already open in beta. And I'm also releasing a course in June 21st, about how to build a website as a yoga teacher. So you can build a website without learning how to program. You don't have to learn how to code. You can run your entire website by yourself. So you don't have to pay someone, because paying someone to build a website is not cheap.
No, not at all.
I know a teacher who dropped $4,000 on her website and it barely works. And now she doesn't know what to do. So yeah, you can't, that's not sustainable in your business, especially when you're making less than $30,000 a year. So I'm all about empowering, teaching people how to do it. And I'm not using Squarespace because I hate Squarespace. So I'm teaching people how to do it with like actual content management systems. So you can grow your list and blog and do everything you need to do, including selling classes, all on your website, all by yourself.
I tried Squarespace. I was a little bit confusing for me. So I actually have a WordPress website that I'm actually rebuilding myself. But I started using WordPress back in December, and I'm teaching myself. So it's been a long ride. I went from Weebly to WordPress.
Totally different.
A huge difference, yes. So that right now I actually am redoing She Changes the World. And so it's it looks good until you click a button, and then it's like, what happened? So it's still under construction right now, but yeah. I'm going to say I am a closet website building alcoholic.
It is very addictive.
It is. It's just like, oh my gosh. And that's also on my Danielle Laporte desire map here that I wrote down. It's just like, I really like building websites for myself, not for other people. but for myself, it's fun. So, but I love that you've got this academy going on. I love that what you're doing is going to help them. That is so awesome, because I also work with vendors, and I think they have the same issues that yoga teachers would probably have. I love that. It is really, really needed, because since they're out there doing all of that yogi stuff, then they probably have not taken the time to understand how important it is to have content management and social media and how to work all these things that's really going to help them to streamline their business. And it is so freaking important. Very, very good. I love it.
Well, thank you. And
so tell everyone, can you put in the link so that everyone can sign up there?
It's at 42yogis.com/academy. And I think I can put that in right here. I love this new feature of Lab.
Yes, they've gotten some cool stuff.
So it is in beta right now, and I'm really come on, you can do it. There, drop-ins won't show in recordings. Okay, well that's fine. So it says it's going. It says it's going.
Oh, okay.
Is it going?
Put it in the chat too, just in case for the replay. Put it in there too.
Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to not make too much noise while I type here, so people on the replay don't have to hear all our typing.
Well, that's why I had you do it, because it's just my typing slow. 42yogis.com. I love it. How'd you come up with that name?
It's actually Douglas Adams. So
Who's Douglas
he
Adams?
was the author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Restaurant at the End of the Universe, that whole series, and is a sci-fi series. He started it in the 70s. And there's this computer in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and they're on a pilgrimage to go to the computer, and the computer has been tasked with figuring out the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And she decides the answer is 42.
Oh.
Yeah, and in my life, the answer to everything was yoga.
Wow.
The yoga changed everything for me. So it's nerdy. It's a very nerdy website address.
That's really cute. I love that. See, I love stories. See, I really do. I love backgrounds. I love stories. So before we end, please leave us with some of your bestest advice, a inspirational quote, or just something that you know to be true.
You have more inside you than you're aware. And I think those of us who are trying to grow in a business, especially business that we're creating, we do struggle from that imposter feeling. We don't feel like we have enough to offer. We don't feel like that we have enough to share. And like what you said earlier, you wrote down 2 pages of your knowledge and your experience. And a lot of people don't realize they have things inside them that they can share, that they can bring to the world, that they can offer. And everything that we have to offer is something that when we offer it can be a service to other people. So these blabs are a service. Yes. So people can come in and they can hear and they can experience and they can learn from your guests and from your experience. That is a service. And what you learned in secretarial school is something that can be a service. And we have all these things that we don't understand are powerful and valuable to other people. And I think it's important to remember that just because we look at our lives and go, well, this is really fucking boring, what have I done? Doesn't mean that it can't help somebody else.
Exactly. I love that. I love it. You have more inside you than you are aware of, people, because that's what Ysmay says. And she knows what she knows. Okay.
And so do you.
So do I. So do I. Well, thank you so much for being on. I really, really appreciate you. You have been so awesome. And if you are on the replay, then please hit up Ysmay's website at www.42yogis.com and check out her academy. It sounds like she's doing some amazing things. And even if you're not into the whole yoga thing, I think that you can always get information from somebody. There's always something useful that you can gain. So go ahead and check it out. You never know what you're going to learn. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much for having me.